Welcome back, everybody. It's Renovate, and today, guys, is episode number 11 of Modsauce 2 Season 2. And yeah, guys, check out this wall behind me. 100 subscribers. We did it. We did it. And yeah, I just want to say thanks to everybody who has subscribed recently. We've had just an enormous amount of subscribers in the past couple weeks. Something like close to 60. So let's just keep it going. This is going to be my room that I'm going to do for each. I think we're going to do 100, and then when we get to 500, we'll do something back there. But I also had a contest, and I asked everybody to retweet, try to get to 100 this weekend. And Aaron, it's at Aaron G18. His name is actually Aaron Gonzalez. If you look him up on YouTube, he actually had the most retweets. So here, Aaron, this is your wall. Cool, man. Thanks, appreciate it. So yeah, guys, episode number 11. We're going to do a little bit of AE2 again today. And some ore, not processing, but we'll just call it poor man's ore generation. Yeah, whatever. So anyways, guys, let's go. If you like the videos, click that like button. If you're new to the channel, keep clicking that subscribe button. And just like always, if you subscribe, I will subscribe back. Doesn't matter if you got a video or not, I will subscribe. So also, join Twitter, guys. Join Twitter. Yeah, it's the easiest way for me to get a hold of any of you and communicate back and forth. So let's get started, guys. Woo! So yeah, guys, this is going to be my little room that I'm going to have every time we get to a milestone. First milestone was 100. We reached that this morning. And like I said, we had a little Twitter contest to see who could retweet out a Twitter that I put out this weekend, or a tweet that I put out this weekend, pushing to get 100. And at Aaron G18 won that contest, and I made this little wall for him, this little area here. So yeah, thanks guys for getting us to 100. Let's push 500 now. Let's just keep going. So today, guys, I want to do something. I want to do a little bit more with AE2, and I actually want to do a little thing on ore processing. I'm just going to call it poor man's ore processing. It's not really even ore processing. It's just an inexpensive way of mining, I guess you could say. And a couple of the people on this channel, or not this channel, but this server, have actually done this. And so I'm going to show it too, because I finally just, gave up and said, might as well. Reactor's doing good. I check that every episode. I check it every time I play, because we've, or at least I have been having some issues. So yeah, one thing that I made off screen, and I've been testing this out. It's just a standard pulverizer, right? But this is the resonant version, and I've been playing with these on and off just to see what the difference between just a regular pulverizer and this one is. And this one actually has some pretty cool things you can do with the augmentations, like upgrades over here. So we're going to put a clocker on here, and it actually allows this thing to process a whole lot faster, which I can't put in that one. So just to get to the resonant, it's not very hard to make. I think the weirdest thing to make was an ingot that's really bright orange. Let me see if I can find it in here. Yeah, let's scroll through here. As you can see, our ME system has gotten extremely large. There it is. It's called the Sinalum ingot. I guess you could say that. That's how you spell sign, and that's an A, and that's an L-U-M, so Sinalum. Whatever. So yeah, it takes one of those to get up to, I think, past the harden, and then the resonant, of course, is just the Inderium ingots. So yeah, we have this. It's just going to sit here in the way, so every time I walk in here, I'll trip over it, just like my bed. So yeah, let's run over here real quick, guys, and I'll show you what I've been doing. Excuse my phone, it's sitting right next to me. So I think the last episode, guys, we got to this part right here, and we were talking about how to do P2P tunneling and whatnot. And so I've expanded it a little bit, and I'm going to go over all of this with you guys, just to explain it. I know I do a lot off video, and I don't do a lot of crafting when I record, but I will show you how all this stuff works. You guys can craft. I mean, all you got to do is open your open your NEI system. It's got recipes. You guys can do it. So if I tell you what parts to make, then it allows you guys to make it yourself. But I'll explain it. So this was our inscribers, and if you remember in my last video, I actually had exports and imports on this thing. That's not what we wanted, so just forget everything on that last video. You actually want interfaces, and then import bus. Remember, import imports it into the system. It doesn't import it into the machine, imports it back into the system. Export it out of the system into the machine. So just think of these things as external from your ME system. So if it says import, you're importing it back into the system. Hopefully that makes sense. So the interfaces allow you to interact with the different machines in AE2. So this interface here, we crafted a pattern that says if I take one printed silicone, or if I take one silicone and stick it into this machine, it'll print a silicone, this thing here, printed silicone. And then I did that for each one of them. So here's the diamond one. Here is the, that's the pure Certus quartz, and this one's the gold. So anytime I need to make these, I just go over here and tell it to craft it. It'll craft it here and then send it back. Now we don't have any acceleration upgrades. You can put acceleration upgrades in these things all through here. So yeah, and then you just need to hook it up with power on the back side. So yeah, this right here, if you look, is 4 channels and 4 channels, which is 8. That's why that one's all filled up. Remember we talked about channels and how many our cables can hold. This is a smart cable. It can only hold 8 channels. Now if you look at the little GUI up at the top, or Wayla, it's actually telling you each line, there's 4 of 8 channels, 3 of 8, 2 of 8, 1 of 8. So it's actually telling you how many if you just look up there. The next thing we set up that I did off screen was the charger. Now remember, for the charger I had down in the basement. So now the way that I have the charger set up, if I don't know if you can see this if I hold this, no, that's just Ender. There is an import bus on here on the back side, and then there is a these things here, interface on the bottom, and all the interface is telling it to do is pull a Certus quartz crystal into here, and it will create charged Certus quartz. So when it charges it, it just pulls it back right back into the system. Cool. This is your crafting for AE2. This is your ME crafting. So these are called molecular assemblers. Basically, anytime you craft something that's not going on in these machines, let's say I wanted to craft a stick. So I would make a pattern for a stick, and then I would stick that pattern in down here in these interfaces. Now, these interfaces here have 9 slots. These interfaces here have 9 slots. Except these, I can actually put multiple things around it, like this. This works great for this. But these, I would probably, if I wanted to use these on here, I'd have to put them on all the sides, which is fine. But if I do it this way, if I have a crafting recipe down here, it's actually going to use both sides, each molecular assembler, to craft stuff. So if this one's full, it's going to start crafting over here. Same way with this one. I got just this in here, and basically we just got our storage cells crafted in here. So it just makes it a little bit faster. And then what you can also do is put a molecular assembler on this side and then on the back side, so it completely surrounds it. So that's why I do it this way with these, and this way with this machine. And so the way that you craft the molecular assemblers, if we just go in here, it's right here, molecular assembler, and it's just iron, crafting table, some of these formation cores, and annihilation cores, and some quartz glass. That's all that is. Real cheap to make. And then the interfaces, I don't know if I made any of those last episode, but if you go to, let's go to applied, and then the interfaces on the last page. Now it's just going to show the flat one, but here's the rest of, all you gotta do is put this in your inventory or your crafting thing, and it makes the flat one. But if you just want to use this one, it's just the same thing: formation core, annihilation core, glass, and some iron. So real cheap to make those two, and you just pop those in. Now all you gotta do is power this from the bottom, and this whole thing will light up. So these pull power from these. So if you just make a tower, everything will turn on. So, but if you look at this, I got 1, 2, 3, 4 machines, and if you look down there, I got 4 lines coming in, and then this one was 2 because I had an import bus. This doesn't count, and then the interface. So there's 2. So there's 2 lines, so I have 6 coming in on that side. So I got 2 free channels on that one. This over here is another inscriber, and the way that this one works, if you remember, once you make this one, you got to make the finale. So the way that this one works is we got an import bus, excuse me, on the top, and we're telling it to take these items and drop in it. Will make one of these. So This one's kind of tricky because you always have to export out of the ME system redstone from the side, and then you need to export in the bottom out of the system these printed silicones, okay? And then the crafting recipe, all you're telling it to do is drop either the calculation, the logic, or the engineering press. You don't have to put all the items in that crafting recipe. So it's going to drop that one from the top, it's going to export that and that from the bottom and the side, and then it's going to import the ending result back into the system. So that's a completed circuit. This is our crystal growth chamber. Importing back into the system whatever comes out of it. We're going to craft in it pure quartz and then flux crystals. So if you remember, anytime you take a seed or anytime you drop your items in there, you get 2 back. So that's what this is. You don't need any water for that. So once again, you got 1 system, 2 system, 3 system, 4 system, and then 5 and 6. So if you look on here, we got 6 down there. And then I added this wireless access point, which we're going to complete today. This just allows me to use my system if I'm down the hall. So that's the 7th one, and if you look on there, we got 7 channels. So that one's almost full. And that right there is just a dense cable. Over here, down there are our crafting machines. So if I jump down here, boop, right there. This is our crafting co-processing units. I got 2 of those, and then a 16 storage space on the top, and then I just did another one over here. If you make just one of these and you start crafting something, it's going to use that one. So let's say I wanted to craft a circuit. So I craft a circuit, and then I'm like, well crap, I need to make something else, but I'll have to wait because this thing can only craft one thing at a time. This controls your whole crafting. If I make a second one, then I have 2 systems, 2 ways of crafting things. So if this one is busy crafting, I can craft using this one, and then you don't have to select them. It's just going to let you know that this one's crafting and that one's crafting. And these here are only using the channels over here. So 2 channels, 2 units. So that's why I just did a smart cable so you guys could see this. You really didn't need to use a smart cable. Just the standard glass cable that I did in orange can handle 8 channels. The only difference between that and this is this shows you what your channels are. So yeah, there's those. We'll probably make some more when we get into some pretty heavy duty stuff. So yeah, let me get out of here. I always get confused. Let's go up here. And the way that you make these, it's very similar to making this, the disk drives. So if we do crafting, let's go back to the first page. Here's your crafting unit. And that's just taking all your processors and then some cable and some iron. So you need to make that first, and then you create your co-crafting, or your, man, it's hard to say, crafting co-processing unit, which take another processor, mix it with that, you get one of these. The more of these, the quicker the things will craft. And then you start from here, you get 1K, 4K, 16, and then 64. So that's just taking the crafting unit again and adding a storage component. This is the same thing you use to combine with the storage disks, and you get the disk that you put into here. So that's how you create that. So yeah, that's our ME system. It's growing gradually. We got plenty enough power, and this will eventually consume this whole wall, I'm imagining. I might just go up and then hug the top and then come back down. I don't know. It's something cool. So let me get something real quick, guys, and then we'll go over our new way of mining. Okay, be right back. One thing I forgot to show you guys. Let's go back down here. Maybe you're not. There we go. Last episode I had this set up so that we had a cable coming out, and then I had this stuck over here, and then this powering it around the side. The one thing you guys can do is just run your dense cable out, put your P2P on it, and basically what happens, and I think I explained this in the last video, this section of the P2P, the one that goes from there to there, basically your tunnel or your bridge, it has to have power, okay? So if you put a little quartz fiber, that's telling this to pull power out of here. And so that's how you do that. You just bridge it with power. And so it's not using any data or any channels. And I did the same thing up at the top. And we'll go up there real quick and look. I'm really going to get rid of these things or get rid of my ability to walk on blocks, because when I walk on blocks I miss my block. There we go. I did the same thing over here. Basically all I did here was I took off of the smart cable, just a glass cable, and then put a quartz fiber. And so what that's doing, it's telling this, don't pull anything or don't use this for any type of data, just use it for the power purposes. And so that's what I did there. Glass fiber allows you to do that. And then we did the same thing over here, and then we pulled, so all these machines on the back and this machine here with the quartz fiber is allowing power to come through the network. So that's what the quartz fiber does. So if you guys ever get confused on why on earth we have quartz fiber, it's strictly for power purposes. So you don't want to for whatever reason hook up something to this and then have to pull another channel. So just use quartz fiber. That's what that's for. Oh, so yeah, this is one of the basic pulverizers. So I've made some pulverizers lately. We got rid of the fish mod. I forget what it was called, but remember I was having problems getting fish, and then somebody said, you know, use what do you call them, name tags, and put name tags on them, and I just didn't feel like doing all that. But apparently they just kept spawning in by the thousands, and it was kind of being an issue on the server. And we had that last season with Modsauce with I think the dungeons or runic dungeons or something like that. We just had mobs that were just spawning non-stop. So yeah, we got rid of that mod just for the fish purposes, and I couldn't get them to survive anyways. It really didn't matter. This, if you've watched one of Thorgold's videos, he's got this set up, and I think Dragon Fu right now is getting one set up or has one set up. But yeah, I've kind of looked at what they did. I don't have it as sophisticated as they do. I think Thor has it going through a hammer and stuff, which breaks it down even more and allows you to possibly get extra ores out of it. But pretty much I'll explain how this works, and then we'll look at the back of it. If I hold on my wrench, you can see how I got all my pipes run. But what this is doing, I don't want to say for whatever reason, but this right here is a sieve, okay? And if you guys have played any of the X-Nilo stuff, the sieving thing is how you get your ores, your iron, your tin, whatever. And then depending on what you're sieving, you'll get other things. So like through the sand, you're going to get, I'm not quite sure. Let's just type in sand, and then let's click on it. And I don't know if it's going to show me X9. Okay, so if we sieve sand, we're going to get all these drops. So one of the things that I particularly want are these for our ME system, and then I don't really care about the rest of this stuff, although it becomes important. I mean, when you combine them together, it makes something useful. The yellorium is okay, and then when we break it down to dust, let's take dust. And where's our dust? Where's our dust? Do you see dust? There it is. Let's go this way. Maybe I might get there faster. There. So dust just gives you the powdered form of each ore, but you also get blaze powder and bone meal and redstone and glowstone. So these are kind of important, I would say. And then I think gravel just gives you the basic ores. Let's look. Gravel gives you all your ores. So if you take these, 4 of these becomes, I think, gravel, like iron gravel. And then you get coal, and every once in a while you'll get diamonds, emeralds, and you can see the percentage drop there. It's not very high, but you do get them. So in the gravel one, I actually put some upgrades. I put these fortune upgrades, so it gives us a little bit higher chance of getting some of the lower end stuff. Now the soul sand, the reason I'm doing soul sand is you get a lot of nether quartz and gas tiers out of it. So if you, or I'm sorry, not nether sand, soul sand. So let's type in soul sand. Let's go and look at what you get through it. Oh, there it is right there. So you're going to get nether wart, gas tiers, and nether quartz, which is good because we need lots of nether quartz for the ME system as well. So the way that this works, you take an igneous extruder and you put 1 bucket of lava and 1 bucket of water. That's all it needs. It doesn't even need power. And this thing is going to constantly produce cobblestone. Okay, the cobblestone is going to drop down into a cache. And on the back side, I got it. I'll show you how we got it all wired up. And then from this, as you can see, it's already got 10,000 stored. And I've only had this running, or actually active, for maybe 2 days. I mean, it hasn't been very long. This thing produces an extraordinary amount of material. So yeah, you pump this into this pulverizer, okay? And then when you get to this pulverizer, it's going to pulverize it down to gravel. Now, every once in a while, you're going to get a byproduct of sand. So if you look at what we got, I have a pulverizer, and then out through the yellow is sand. So the sand's going to come out. It's going to go down and go into the sand cache. Same thing with this one. So the top one is gravel, and then the byproduct is sand. So we're pumping out the sand. It's going in here. Same thing with the top one over here. It's going to get gravel. It's going to drop down into here, but the sand's going to come out. So all the sand gets transferred down to here. Okay. So that's that. This thing's going to drop down into here, and then it's going to sieve it, whatever you want to say. And then it's going to drop it into our item pipes down here, and that gets transferred. This isn't complete yet. Over here to a chest, and then through that chest I have an import bus right there, and it's importing it back into our ME system. So yeah, the second stage to get the sand is you start with the gravel, right? And it's going to drop the gravel down here. The gravel is going to get ground up into sand. The sand drops down in here. The byproduct of the sand is dust. So once again, same thing over here. You just do it over here. So from the bottom one, you got dust coming out to the dust. Same thing over here, dust coming out to the dust. So up here, you got gravel. You got cobblestone into gravel, gravel into sand, sand into dust. No byproducts on that one. So you're always going to get dust falling into here. And this one's backed up. Not really backed up, it's just full. So the other thing that we can do to get this, let's run around here to the back. And I got this closed off. So that's all we got to do. So this is the back of it. It looks really confusing, but it's not really. So pretty much everything's color coded. So our gravel, or I meant our cobblestone, is blue. Hold on, let me turn my animals down. I keep hearing crazy sheep in the background. Options, music. Where's our animals? Friendly creatures? Let's just turn them off. There we go. So we got blue as the gravel, so it's going up and into here, up and into there, and up and into down there. And then from this one, it is dropping down into here. So, and then to go from here into the sieve, it doesn't really have an output, so we did purple to purple. This one is, I think, is it orange maybe, or light red or something, into the bottom. And then this one I did white to white. And then you can see how all that works. So if you look, where are we at? So one of the things I did to get our soul sand, you take a bucket like this, oak bucket, just do an ender tank on the side of it, and it will and if you just turn that, it'll import all the water into this. This doesn't need to be up and down, it can be to the side. And then this is where I'm getting my water from. Infinite water source, transfer liquid up into here. I guess I could have just extended that up to there. This is kind of a waste to make two of them, but I had, if you remember way back when, we had our lava going, so I had these two buckets. So but yeah, the mycelium helps create witch water, and when you drop sand into witch water, it creates soul sand. So if you look, this is a red item conduit. It's coming from way over on the side where the sand is, right there. So what that is telling, this has got, I'm going to click on it with this. Come on. Let's just do an empty hand. Boom. Okay, so this has got a priority of 4, and it's red. The red channel, priority of 4. Now if I go down here, and we go to the sieving part, I don't know if I'm going to be able to reach into there. Let's see. There. If I set this priority to 8, I could set it to 10, but if I do it to 10, it's kind of overkill. So I'm just saying, 8. So every once in a while, one's going to go over to the soul sand bucket. But, I mean, you could set it to 50-50 if you wanted to. So 5 and 5, or I don't even know how high these go up. These could go up a lot of numbers, but I just use 1 through 10. So pretty much what I'm telling it is, you can take sand out of here and put it in the sieve, but every once in a while, or when this thing is full, throw it over to here into this. So it's creating soul sand, and you can actually see, if we watch, it's which water, and then it just took one. So it already made one and it took it, so now it's transforming back into witch water, and then it's going to throw a piece of sand in there and immediately take it away. The other thing you're going to want to do if you set this up, remember the igneous extruder does not need power, and then you're just going to tell it to drop. If you look at the configuration, you're going to drop it to the bottom. It's going to drop into here. Now to get all the items to the top, you're going to have to set this kind of like we did our tree farm, set it to red robin. So it's going to distribute the cobblestone evenly. So you don't want to keep trying to fill this one up and then wait for this one. It's going to fill these up kind of evenly. So keep those on red robin. And then my power source is coming from down there, which actually comes from our ME room. There's a tesseract underneath. And I think that's all. The other thing you're going to want to do once you get this set up, and this is, like I said, it's pretty simple, is set you up some switches right here. And these are just insulated redstone conduits. And make you some blocks so you know what you're looking at. So this is gravel, so we got gravel, sand, dust, and soul sand. So as you can see, the sieves are turned off and they don't have any power. Okay, if I wanted to turn it on, see, I turn that on, now for whatever reason they all came on. They shouldn't all come on. Well, that's odd. They shouldn't all come on. That's weird. Well, I did have it set up so only one came on, but whatever. We'll have to check into that. So anyways, I had these set up color coded, and for whatever reason it doesn't seem like that is the case. We'll have to figure out what's going on. We haven't updated anything, I don't think. So yeah, I have them all turned off, but believe me, I had these set up so it turns on each one of them. So anyways, so these all get power, blah blah blah. You can see it, it's going through its little sieving process, and it's going to drop it into here, and you'll see it real quick, or you won't, and then it's just going to pull it into our system. So that's, I don't want to call it the poor man's way of doing it, because it's not really a poor as in material wise, but you don't have to have all the expense. The amount of materials I made for my digiminer, and also I can't keep that thing chunk loaded, so this is an inexpensive way, I guess, to. Are these things going to turn off? Yeah, they're draining power. So it's got some residual power. Once it powers up, it's just going to go through it. But yeah, this is a way of getting your ores without mining, and you're going to get multiple forms of ore too. You're going to get, if you go to ME system, you're going to see all the different forms of it that we get. Let's type in here, and let's go to ore. So yeah, you're going to get the powdered version, you're going to get the crushed version, and you're going to get the broken version. And then you're going to get the sand. Pretty much what happens is when you take, let's say we take the crushed lead ore and we go like this, you get the sand. You can process the sand, and then you can take the powdered form and do the same thing, and you get dust. And you can take the broken form and do this, and you get, what did you get out of that? Gravel. So different ways of getting the ores, and they all process differently too. And that's something we're going to set up probably in another episode. But that's why I brought this over here, but I'm going to go get the other pulverizer, because if you check out, let's just check out iron. Let's check out iron dust. Iron dust. Is it this one? This one? Yeah, let's take our iron gravel. There we go. That's what we want. Maybe. If I take the iron gravel and we... Nope, that's not the right one either. Let's check real quick. Iron. I want the iron ore sand. Is that what we really want? Iron ore sand, I guess. Let's just try that. I'm here. It's iron ore gravel. Iron ore. That's what I'm looking for right there. So if we have the iron ore sand and we smelt it, you get 1 ingot. But if I put it in a pulverizer, right, I get 2 pulverized iron, and then a byproduct of ferrous. This I can turn into 2 ingots. So I'm ore doubling this. Okay, so that's why we got the the pulverizer. If I take the iron ore gravel, same thing. If I pulverize it, I'm going to get 2 pulverized iron. So I'm kind of getting the same results no matter what. So we're going to take, eventually we're going to take everything and turn it into, we're just going to take it and put it in a crafting, maybe an auto crafter or something, and then we're going to run it through a pulverizer, and then we're going to run it through a redstone furnace or some kind of a furnace so that it will cook it. Maybe we even use the hell furnace so it cooks it a lot faster, and then we'll pump it right back into the system. Okay, so that's that. The next thing I want to work on, guys, is the wireless access point. So let me do a couple of things again, and we'll be right back. So guys, that episode was running a little bit too long, so we're going to have to end it right now, and then I will just go ahead and make an episode 12, which would be basically episode number 11's part B, or part 2. So thanks for watching this one. Jump over and watch the next one, and you'll get the whole story. So thanks guys for watching. Click the like button, click the subscribe button, join Twitter. See ya!